Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the climaxing game of CSN opening tournament. We have MSI versus Load, and we have quite the game on our hands. MSI and Load are one apiece. This will be the money maker, the one that takes home all the dough, and I am your host tonight, Forecourt Jester. With me again, Luke DeRiff, and we have a special guest quick interview of CSN Jesse, who is Galvia, the admin for the HoN section. How you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic, Forecourt. How are you?
Enjoying the games. Are you enjoying the games?
Actually, this series has been absolutely fantastic, other than a little bit of arguments on the side, but all that is irrelevant. The first game was fantastic, although Chu really showed it how he can still shine in the competitive scene. And the second game was much more close, and it was really fantastic to watch. I'm really looking forward to the third game.
So the entire tournament has taken place over, they started about mid-August, right? So now we're about mid-September, so over about a month, and was it a good experience? Good stuff?
So far it's been pretty good. All the teams showed a really good amount of support. There was some issues, but that's the same with any tournament. Other than that, all the series that have been played have been fantastic. The semifinals and up have been really exciting. Some really good teams involved there. We still have to wait for our third place game between SK and DRD, which should be a fantastic game as well.
So we'll look forward to the third place game a little later, but at this point in time, I mean, you've had a lot of advertising through HoNcast and GR getting basically the CSN name out there, and hopefully that's been a positive experience. If this all goes well, do you think CSN will do another tournament down the line?
Oh, absolutely. We got plenty of stuff on the way as far as tournaments go. We're looking to have another tournament immediately after this, an invitational tournament. We're going to invite the top 32 teams in Heroes of Newerth, and we're going to get together. We're going to have a huge tournament. We're also going to have some fun tournaments on the way. So
Something about
we're going to have a Oh, sorry, I'm getting spammed. We're going to have a 3v3 tournament on the new map that they're going to be releasing. S2 is going to be releasing.
Grimm's Crossing
hold on a
or
second,
something,
guys.
right? Yeah.
Sorry. I guess I had vent open and I was getting spammed.
Ah.
Anyway.
I was wondering
Yeah.
what that sound was.
Anyway, there's plenty on the way from the CSN. We're not looking to stop, and the only thing that we need is the support from the community.
Great. Well, we wish you guys luck in this future endeavor. Look forward to casting more of your games down the line. Galvia, which is CSN Jesse of the CSN crew, thanks for your time today, buddy.
Good luck, guys.
All right. So with that out of the way, Luke, how are we looking for bands?
Well, we're looking at Engineer, Dr. Repulsor, Devourer, I wanted to say Fresh Pro, but it's only Pharaoh.
That is not a substitution there, buddy.
And Tundra, so nothing odd very much. We see Voodoo Jester, which seems to be quite, the odd band, but considering that he's a great, probably the greatest tri-lane hero that there is, that kind of sorry, I was kicked out of the game. Oh, I'm back.
You got kicked out of the game?
That kind of, yeah, no, I was not kicked. I was put off. Well, that kind of reasons this ban. And we see Tundra banned, which is also reasonable because we saw last time Tundra had a very great impact on the game. He did provide a lot of map control, great ganking, and was overall just a very good pickup. Yeah, other than that, the bans are not really odd.
Well, they've kind of been consistent. Dr. Repulsor, 3 games in a row. Engineer, Pharaoh, and Devourer, 3 games in a row.
Engineer's overpowered. I agree on that with Angel.
I thought the term overpowered was just not for, more
well,
viable.
Flies to Engineer, most definitely. He's so strong, it's not even funny, and he can do so many things all at once. That is, that is pretty close to overpowered, if you want to might say that.
Wow, there's a fine line. Extremely viable. I like that. He is extremely viable. He is so viable. He is in every game. Yeah.
He is. Not joking, man. Not joking.
Well,
he's really. Well, the first pick being Witch Slayer for Load. Nothing surprising there. Versatility pick number 1, Witch Slayer. With Witch Slayer, you can basically do everything, and he can, do every lineup. We have Andromeda and Slither, and we're gonna see another tri-lane map most likely here.
I would really enjoy it if Load took Panda right now. Just take it away from MSI. I would enjoy that.
That would be funny.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Most definitely.
But
I don't think it will happen though.
No, probably not. But I mean, that is a point. I mean, sometimes we've seen teams go up against MSI and they instant ban that Panda first. ban, and they just don't want to deal with it. But Load here has been able to deal with that Panda very well, through the last 2 games now. Not really been seeing a lot of overpowered play from the Panda.
Yes, Pandemonium is a strong hero, and the point is that MSI um was pulling off such great success with him was that he is a very strong hero that it was underused, but also people were not used to play against him, and not especially not in the way that MSI used him. Now they kind of adapt to it, and they kind of are able to deal with it more, which I find interesting. Rather than banning Panda, they ban um Pharaoh, and I think this is a much more of a sensitive ban because even though Panda was great, he can fail like we saw in the very first game, but we saw such great play by Freshball on that Pharaoh. I can't stress that enough. People call me a fanboy. I don't care. Um, he plays an amazing Pharaoh. He really
As
does.
long as you get your bias out there so everyone can know. Yep.
No, just in that particular case, if he was playing if he was playing Pharaoh,
He really is
interesting to see
just
the
that
ban.
word to you, isn't he? Fresh Pro equals Pharaoh.
Yes.
That's in your mind. That's just how you see it.
Yeah, that comes if you write a Pharaoh guide and watch a couple of replays of Fresh Pro playing Pharaoh. It kind of,
Fresh Pro, Pharaoh, 2 syllables, kind of
yeah,
sound
that's
the
it.
same.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the game. Anyway, we see on the Hellbringer side we now have Witchslayer, Hellbringer, and Behemoth. So that's interesting. We haven't, Behemoth being a hero that I'm not saying he has seen no play, but he definitely has. He wasn't used very much
Yeah, he's
lately.
definitely dropped off the competitive scene, but that's because more the metagame has gone towards more powerful ganking heroes rather as opposed to what Behemoth can offer, which is basically his ult and a fissure. That's really all he can do for you.
Well, a fissure. He has a fissure, and the fissure is great. And at the moment, the fissure is especially great. And why is it especially great?
Well,
Well, because of the Blatulus, man. The Blatulus, you can't just throw fissures like an idiot all the time. If you miss one, oh, Balfagor, applause.
I'm not joining in
Two,
that.
look. um, applause to Load picking up Balfagor, such a great hero. Haven't seen him on competitive play a lot, and we see Fuji Apples. I actually watched one replay with Fuji Apples playing Balfagor, and he does play a very good Balfagor. Chew on Soul Stealer, so we have a classic there. And yeah, as far as Legion picks are concerned, we have Thunderbringer coming out and Bubbles. Thunderbringer, bit surprised that he wasn't picked earlier, but definitely a strong pick for obvious reasons. We have had that before. Bubbles also a very good pickup. We've discussed that so many times now.
Nah, yeah. It would be interesting not to see a panda, but at the same time, fate's going to tell us now. Malikan, so...
Oh yeah, that is interesting because um we kind of Malakin is the second choice. Normally when Panda was banned, they tended to pick Malakin. And Malakin is a hero that also was not very much played in the competitive scene for a long time until MSI picked him up. And he is a great hero. He's a very strong carry. And yeah, I think we're looking at a very good game here. But I'm a bit worried about the trial lane again because we saw in the first game how this Slither Andromeda trial lane, can fail because of limited range, ultra squishiness, So yeah, it's gonna be definitely an interesting game.
Well, as the announcer says, let's get it on. Game number 3 of the CSN finals between MSI and Load is now going to be commencing. We are on the EU server, so you guys can have a lot of ammo with that later on down the line. And these are the teams.
But we don't care.
Well, I don't
We don't care about
personally,
teams.
no, not whatsoever, but...
We care about gameplay, man. That is what
Alright,
matters.
so I'm just looking at these teams, and I see the Slither Andromeda going with the Malakin. I think that's what you were touching on. That would leave the Thunderbringer mid with the
Yes.
Bubbles top. Now, we've done that before. That was the first game. We had Bubbles off by himself, and he got shut down so incredibly hard that he just ended up being kind of like a null cast. I mean, like,
Oh my god, a pause, a pause!
Rather than
Sorry.
a bubbles, what do you think they could have done? Considering, I mean, game number one, they already tried the bubbles trick, and it didn't quite work.
Bubbles, I mean, the point in the first game was that, but really, Bubbles didn't do too bad because he got his farm up and he basically got his farm and his levels up later. What really cost him the first game was Chu. Chu doing an absolutely fantastic job at beating them for a mid and then just wrecking the entire team of MSI. I think personally Bubbles is a very good hero in that sense because of his great survivability, with the take cover that auto cast and feel free to avoid any stun that you want, and the great escape mechanism that you have, as well as the silence which can be used defensively. So it's definitely a great hero to do this, 1v3, 1v2, whatever you want. So I think Bubbles actually makes a lot of sense. Typical heroes that could do this 1v3 are like Valkyrie and Reggie Hack that you normally see. But I like Bubbles a lot in that sense. I like most Valkyrie, I gotta say that, but Bubbles definitely a very pickup.
Well, Bubbles is that exact port, more or less, from that Puck from Dota, and Puck was a great character, but as he came over to the competitive scene, like he had 1 week of hype play, and then really he just kind of faded. So I mean, it's been a while since we've seen really good Bubbles up in the competitive scene, but I don't. It just he seemed like an underwhelming hero to me. That's all.
No, he's definitely. I kind of disagree with you there. He's really a very good hero, especially S2 buffed him. I think they buffed his base damage and a couple of other things, and especially with the take cover being able to auto cast that, and it automatically avoids abilities. Like we've seen in the first game, he dodged the pebble stun, just like that. And that really is a very, I think he's a great hero, and Trixie is definitely able to play him very well. Seen some crazy action on Bubbles with Trixie.
All right, so maybe a little bit of uh, planning, I guess, at this point. But Witch Slayer, Hellbringer sitting there at that tower, and a Behemoth coming down. But at one point, we had lined up here the entire MSI team, and they were ready for these guys to go in, and they still might be, as we might be seeing initiation. But yeah, I guess they ran
Probably
away
gonna
like
happen.
little babies.
It is interesting though. What they're doing here is if they keep the lanes like that, because they're running a trial lane without a carry in it, and that is definitely something that we haven't seen here in the regular Heroes of Newerth. I've seen it being done on the Garena servers a couple of times, but I haven't really seen it here. It is obviously a great strategy, and the basic purpose of a trial lane without a carry in it, you get three heroes together that are really powerful early on and the basic thing you want to do is basically just shut, and I said basically 3 times.
Basically.
Yeah, what you want to do is you shut down the enemy trial lane. And that's the whole purpose of this trial lane. And I think they picked very good heroes for that. Hellbringer, we've seen great harassment from him coming out last game. Witch Slayer's undoubtable there. And Behemoth, I tell ya, if you're gonna get that Bloodless up early, and I think he will, considering his starting items with a Crushing Claws and a Mark of the Novice, he's gonna throw out a ton of fissures.
Well, that
A
is
ton.
kind of a shift,
And
though. So, I mean,
Beacon,
that chalice makes it possible that you can do that. And, when he dropped off the competitive
yes.
scene, there was no chalice even in the works.
No.
So,
So it's great to see him back. I love Behemoth. I like his hero model. He looks awesome.
that shouldn't be a basis for picking a hero.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm going to go with the one that looks the
No.
best. Yep.
Basically, I love Behemoth because he's got this ultimate, which is really decimating. Can turn whole team fights around. It's great to watch, and it shows some great action as well as the Fissure, who's one of the most entertaining skills because either you land it really well or you completely fail. And I think he adds a really nice. He's really nice addition to the game, and it's always great to see different heroes being played. Variety and enriches the game, in my opinion.